Okay. Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've done a video, this will be the first one that we've done from the workbench, and I'll do a recap of other things, do a layout tour in a minute, but I kind of want to get on to something that is immediately annoying me and is my immediate focus at the current moment. And that is, I'm having some woes with my gloss medium. So in mid-winter-ish, I laid down some gloss medium in the creek bed on layout for the purpose of, emulating some water. At the time, I thinned it with water, and it also had paint inside it, acrylic paint. And it looked quite nice. However, around the start of summer, when things started getting a little bit warm, I started to notice that it would cloud up. Initially just in like small patches, but then ultimately it started getting worse. And on 30 degree plus days, it was just like whole body milky. So I originally thought this was water trapped under the surface, or trapped in the material itself, because during winter, obviously, it cures slower, the water doesn't have a chance to evaporate, and, I was going off the very limited discussions I saw on artists' acrylics, on gloss mediums, and, yeah, the suggestion was, maybe it was water trapped under it, and so I pulled it up using lacquer thinner. So apply a layer of lacquer thinner, scrape it back, etc., etc. And then I reapplied it, and then we had a 35, 36, 37 degree day, and it immediately glossed over. It immediately went milky all over again, and it was, yeah. So I'm in the process of pulling up the creek bed at the moment, and to kind of find out what the heck went wrong, I made a little test bed here, just to sort of test methodology, and see if there was something that I was missing here. So we've got this here. It's just a little foam offshoot that I had. There's two applications here that I have put in. If it'll let me focus, there you will. So one of these I did just straight deep pours, and one of these I did with thin paint layers. These were done neat, no additional stuff added to them. When I initially laid these in the little creek beds I made here, these were clear. And then give it a couple of days, and it started creeping in on the sides. And today we had a 40 degree day, and as you can see here, it's that sort of thing. And you're also getting the start of the wildflower season. So there is a whole lot of, if I can do this nice and smoothly, there is a whole lot of wildflowers out here, and they're all like prostrate, which is along the ground, which is very typical of the area. So a lot of this has been done with a static. I made my own static grass tufts, which I then applied flowers to give them the proper ground cover sort of vibe. So there's a lot of natural flowers here. There's also this little purple bastard here is Patterson's Curse, which is a native weed and a very persnickety one. It tends to pop up everywhere, but especially on road edges and things, edges of nature reserves and things, because it's carried by cattle, it's carried by cars, it's carried through the wind. It's yeah, it's a real nuisance, and yeah, I'm trying to portray the real world. The real world is not just all nice natives and natural flowers. Sometimes you just have, you know, tough bastards that are imported. Let's see what else we got. So I think the most recent, in terms of the absolute most recent thing I've added to this area, is this sign here, which I added, I don't know, a little bit before Christmas. It is literally a chopstick. No, it was a kebab skewer. So different wood, I guess. That's been painted up with a rust-colored oil painting marker, and has had tiny little snippets of the front of the boards printed on just the laser printer. I'm really quite pleased with that, how that came out. It looks very true to the real world ones that I'm trying to replicate. The calm conservation and land management, like nature reserve things, always look like this. Frequently with a calm logo on them as well, but not always. So, let's see. Going back to the gloss medium, I guess, another thing that I finished in the second half of this year was doing some more gloss medium over here specifically to replicate just like alluvial water that is sort of trickling off the rocks still. So, yeah. As you could probably guess, this was done with the gloss medium, and I'm really quite happy with it because it came out quite well. I might have to shift the exposure slightly to get it. Yeah, there you can see it. You can see it a bit better there. So, some of this is literally just the first coat of gloss medium, just done in small rivulets across the tops of these rocks. You can also see that I have done a little bit of a paint application to simulate the I think it's lichen. I think it's a lichen thing, but lichen grows on the rocks during winter. So yeah, and I've got a couple of slightly deeper pools, like right there, which are in truth no deeper than, I don't know, a millimeter, but I think they look really good. And they shine wonderfully. And I'm really quite happy with it. And as you can see, with the exposure right down, you can see just how shiny that is. I don't think it quite comes across just how streamy. Like these haven't been entirely coated in just one pass. There has been I have just applied little licks down the surface to sort of replicate the way that water crosses the tops of rocks, which then, you know, that also translates well into talking about the other bits of water, which is the creek here. Now the upper creek, obviously, I'm still pretty happy with, and you can see it's very nice. This here is my favorite puddle. No, actually no, I think it was this one. This one is my favorite puddle because it looks perfect. It looks perfect from basically all angles. And it comes down here, comes to the culvert. There's a tiny little puddling there, and it comes across here. And this is where we get into the trouble zone. As you can see, it's not going to do it for me, I guess. here. And yeah, carnage, unfortunately, but necessary carnage at this point. Okay, so I guess the next thing we'll do briefly is, another thing I did in the last half of this year was put in the loading dock. We also put in the goods shed. I do want to do a video on that because I have some stuff that I want to talk about with regards to design, implementation, execution, etc. How it came out like this rather than how I intended it to come out. I think this actually came out better, if I'm honest. But yes, the loading ramp to the left of that, which is right here, is a really, really simple 3D print. All it is a fascia along this wall and this wall, a crane plinth, and some very light framing here to prevent it bending when I printed it. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out because all I need to do once I had it set in and leveled was just fill it with sand, and that's really easy. It's now, you know, imperceptibly part of the front of the layout, and it looks great. I still need to 3D print a WHR built 5-ton yard crane, but you know, one thing at a time. I need to get some more resin. Yes, and this, just going very briefly without going into a new video about it, the goods shed is made entirely of wood frame. I made that out of ice cream sticks that I cut with a scalpel to roughly scale dimensions. Then I built the frame on the inside because I wanted to be able to look inside the thing, and you can. The outside is made of cardboard with a aluminium foil outer that has been also painted and corrugated using my favorite technique, which is a screw and a bit of leftover foam scrap, which all the pieces of aluminium are cut to scale tin shed dimensions. There's some cap on you can see I've completed like cap on edges here. There are a couple of things still missing from this. I need to put the backside ramp on this, like backside stairs. There's some stairs missing from this side. I may include one of the doors, I'm not sure. And I would like to do some lighting in it because it is nice. I know. Lighting is a thing I keep going back and forwards on. It's like I need to keep that in mind now when I'm doing things, but I haven't got any like concrete plans for it, so it's just sort of sitting as a unknown at the moment. Okay, so real quick, this is the absolute most recent thing I've done. So I originally had this placeholder building in here for a public restroom. I also had some pathing planned for it. So I kind of did a little bit of soul searching on the design of it, and I came to the conclusion it's kind of at it's like the architecture, the design of it. It's kind of a late in the period I'm trying to depict sort of time window, which is sort of mid 80s through to mid to late 90s. This sort of rediscovered like Federation style is this new Federation style or something, I guess is how you describe it. Yeah, it was not really an 80s thing. It's not even a 70s thing. It's very much a contemporary design. And I was like, yeah, but it's in my reference photos for the places that inspired this, there was one that was there. And I'm like, so I guess if I want to be like period accurate about this, I need to go and find myself another public restroom, another public toilet. So I did. I done a bunch of research. I'll throw some pictures up here. Went out with my partner, took pictures, took measurements of another restroom, and I've got another temporary fill-in structure. And this one is bigger. So there's going to be some landscaping to make it fit. It's not too much of a big deal. This one is down at the Mundarian Weir, whereas compared to the old one, which was out at Gomelling, which is a bit of a departure, but I'm pretty confident you'll find a public toilet like this basically anywhere. They're very common. This is a more like 70s, 60s like brick design. It's very normal. Once I get some resin back to do 3D printing, I think I'm going to actually attempt getting that done so I can get some further forward progress on the building side of the layout, because that hasn't really progressed greatly in the last year. I guess I could also point out that I have officially marked in with more scale timber, quote unquote, the playground sand pit. To be put in there is playground equipment and playground sand, but you know, we're working on things one thing at a time, one thing as I get it. Okay, so I guess the next thing briefly I can talk about is I have been slowly paving the town sidewalks and some of the median strip. This is Chooch. I had the thing. It's around here. I've lost it. No matter. This stuff is Chooch, Houndstooth. Not Houndstooth. This is Chooch Herringbone. Get this in the edit. Herringbone paving. Herringbone brick paving. Initially I was trying to carve out the bottom of it so it would just sit on top of the existing road base that I extended all the way out. That turned out not to work, so I decided to just carve it through. So yes. So I would just, instead of laying it on top, I'm actually cutting a hole and putting it in it. One thing that is still to do on the bits that I've already completed is to put the curbing, the curbstone, the curb concrete on there. And it is still a work in progress. Okay, so a little bit of under the hood news as well here, I guess. Another thing that I have done this year is I have finally managed to run at least the start of a bus wire under the layout. I can't really show it for video, it's not particularly accessible, but I can show you what it's connected to, which is an NCE power cab, sitting nicely in its 3D printed little holder here. So yes, I have an NCA power cab. In theory, the whole layout is now electrically sound and wired, or at least, you know, the U-shape that I've got so far of stuff that applies to that. Yeah. All I need to have a sort of running layout right now is a train with a DCC chip in it. I don't have one of those yet.